respects, she walked into it and they also took advantage of her. So I think is when we also have to be careful that we don't paint someone a certain way when we don't know everything about them. So, not that I'm a Sarah Palin fan, but I do think that, you know, a Democratic woman or an independent woman is going to run and, you know, the same thing is going to happen. So we have to be ready.
Okay. Why do you think we have seen so few women in Georgia step up in leadership roles in the Democratic Party, which you pretty much addressed? And who are the future female leaders in Georgia Democratic politics, which you've not addressed? Who do you think are the future female leaders?
Well, let me take a little bit of exception to your question, because I would never have said that there have been few women as leaders in the Democratic Party in Georgia. Now, we can say not enough, but we have always had strong women leaders, present company.
And you're not the first Democratic chair
No.
either. We had 2 or 3 in the past. So,
and so,
and actually, not to step on Wendy, but it's when you look across the country, women leaders in the Democratic Party are rampant, and the Republicans have come behind that.
Right.
So we have always, women have always been leaders, which when I had to choose a party in 1980 something, 6 was my first, 84 was my first election, oh God. I had to really look at where women leaders were, and I saw the Democratic Party as women friendly. So, Wendy, sorry about that, I just wanted to.
no, I mean, that's the point I really wanted to make. Again, we need more, and to me, it's still a part of that bench. And again, I applaud an organization that's very strong, Win List here in Georgia, which is kind of like an Emily's List for here in Georgia. They support pro-choice Democratic women candidates. They do a good job of training. The organization, we mentioned Marie Wilson, her organization, the White House Project, and Go Run Lead. Great opportunities for, again, more women to get into leadership. What I do want to say is part of our enculturation as women, you were talking about wanting to make everybody happy, a little more nervous about what people say about you. Frankly, the way I put it, we were raised to please, all right? Not cause trouble, all right? And when you're in politics, I mean, I kind of joke about it a little bit, but you're causing trouble. You're stirring things up. You're trying to make a change. You're trying to make a difference. And if I talk to any of you in the room and I said, well, which office are you going to run for? You're going to give me a list of all the reasons you can't, or all the things that are holding you back. If I went to our equally qualified male colleagues who were in the room upstairs and I asked 10 of them what they were going to run for, they'd tell me. What we have to overcome is finding all of our reasons we're not going to.
And not doing that to our daughters. I will tell you a great story. When I was either in kindergarten or 1st grade, and I remember this like it was yesterday. We were sitting in a room about this size in a circle, and we were, you know, kind of before nap time. I just remember this, and there was this male teacher, and he went around and said, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, fireman, police officer. My dad was in the military, you know, so some folks' dads were in the military, said, I want to be a soldier. And when it got to me, my parents had taken me to the White House recently. And I said, I want to be the President of the United States. And my teacher said, women can't be president. And I said, no, he said, little girls can't be president. And I said, no, but big women can be president. And that is why we have to stop. For everything. Women, if, you know, and I say this equally with mothers and fathers, if a woman wants to be a mother and that's what she wants to be, then she should be supported in that role. If a father wants to be a father, he should be. And we get into these really bad, you know, stereotypical, but also diminishing things that, you know, we think less of someone because of a role that they choose. You know, and I've worked with disability community for many years, and caregivers to me have the hardest jobs in the world, whether you're caring for a child or an older family member or a person with a severe disability. That's a hero and a shero to me that I can't even imagine being in that position, but someday we all will be in that position. So we got to be making sure that we are not propagating the stereotypes, that we're not diminishing little girls and little boys. That, you know, if a little boy says, I want to grow up and be a daddy, you know, we ought to cheer and, you know, pat him on the back. That's the thing that we got to do. And I think the younger I think a lot of y'all are doing that. I think that we have to applaud you and keep supporting you in doing that, because it's tough. It's really
Yeah, and this
tough.
question, who are the future female leaders in the Georgia Democratic politics? Well, you're here. This is you. That's why you're in this organization, is because you're preparing yourself, you're interested, you have an innate interest in politics, but you're also preparing yourself. And you should encourage your friends, your your girlfriends and your boyfriends, but especially your girlfriends, because they say, and Windless always says this, the main reason women don't run is because nobody asked them to run.
Yeah.
You have to be asked, and you have to be encouraged. You have to be empowered. And I remember sitting, I can tell you, I remember sitting in the State House, and I know Dawn and Wendy have experienced the same thing and been in the room with 179 other State House members, and I looked around and I thought, I know I'm at least as smart as most of these men. I looked around and I thought, wait a minute, this is, because women tend to, be deprecating, self-deprecating, but really, when I looked around there, I thought, as kind of frightened and excited as I was to meet the challenges of whatever was demanded of that office, I looked around and thought, okay, all right, I am not in some room where I'm the least qualified. I am just as qualified, if not more, than a lot of these people in this room.
Fine.
And so, but you have to really think that when you're a woman and you're contemplating running for office. You have to know that in your heart.
Yeah,
That you are a good, you've got just as much potential and probably more than the majority of the other candidates running in races.
Yeah, which actually goes back to why women should lead. I think it's also more, and I keep saying bipartisan, because I think women are willing to sit down and negotiate and moderate to the middle and come up with the best solution for all of humankind. That's what I think we will see, and you all are the future. And if you're not thinking, I'm going to run for mayor in 2 years or whatever, or I'm going to run for city council, how can you get on a campaign for a woman to run for that office? All of us worked on a lot of campaigns before Jane and I ever ran for office. Starting with some candidates in Clayton County that were all men when I was, 22 years old, to Senator Nunn, to then working on, Kathy Caucus campaign for Secretary of State, and all the other folks. You have to get in there, and when you see what they can do, then you know you can do it. Because guess what? You're doing it for them. They're just the talking piece. Running for statewide office, I learned that I was not as good as the people around me, because they were doing the research, they were helping me fundraise, they were working on my schedule, and I was like, thank God, I've got all these brilliant young people around me. And at that time I was only 40, and I'm going, whew, thank God I've got a 25-year-old and a 26-year-old. I'm exhausted from doing all this. So you think of it that way. Think about how you can get on the ground floor of a campaign.
Well, think of too of the women leaders who are there, the women elected officials. We have some amazing women in the State House and the State Senate. And the great thing about them too is they are all accessible, and they are all happy to let you experience what they're going through, shadow them, be involved in their campaigns, learn from their leadership. And again, I hope that folks know, I'm happy, although I try to talk anybody who asks me about getting into this crazy world of being a political consultant, I try to stop them, because it's a bad, unhealthy, awful place to be in terms of your personal life. But you can do great things and change the world. So anyway, and I know I speak for my colleagues here. If there are any ways you see that we can help you, please let us know. I understand the Young Democrats are about to do a great training program, and avail yourself of that training program. If there's any campaign trainings, I found the Chamber of Commerce around the state has a leadership, whatever your community is. I went through Leadership Rome. Almost every local Chamber of Commerce has a leadership group. Get in it. Find out how you get nominated for it, because you will meet people in the community that you would never normally meet in your everyday life. And again, you can build those connections across these artificial barriers we have to really make, find success.
This next question, I think we've covered it.